How's it going, everybody? Jodian here, and I'm back with another episode in our Erlingrad series. This is episode 32, I believe, and it's gonna be a busy one. That's right, we got our... Let's get our doors open. Winter has struck. Well, winter is gone, apparently. Winter had struck. Oh, I forgot, there's a bug. When you save and exit, all the snow goes away. I forgot about that. All the snow goes away for your next load. Anyway, so we got all these. We have all these bales to clean up. That's phase one. Phase two, we actually have some corn to get. So we are gonna need our corn hauler, or I should say our corn harvester. Alright, so last episode we got these greenhouses in place. We also got the chickens moved over here. Put in a nice little kind of circular driveway here with a water well, or not a well, but water storage. It's basically a spawn point for water, but it pretends it's storage, so we get to deal with that. Anyway, let's go off and get ourselves a corn header so we can do our cornfield. Get plowed going past here. So our regular header, which let me bring it up here. That's not the menu I want to be in. This is the menu I want to be in. Our regular header that we currently have is 7.6 meters. So in order for us to use the same course, we need something that's a little bit bigger than 7.6 meters. And I believe for corn, I think the next level is a 9 meter. So we're gonna rent it. We're gonna rent it just for the simple fact that they cost so much. They're like 50-something thousand, 59 or something like that, if not more. So we're gonna rent it this go around, and maybe next time we'll buy it. 59 that should only be like a couple grand to rent. But I want to be over here so I can grab it as soon as it pops up, so we're not wasting too much time here. Because if you recall, I believe midnight is when we get charged the extra day. So I kind of want to get this done kind of as soon as possible. Well, that's okay. That's a 12. This is a 6. Where's the 9? There's a 9, 9, 10. Okay. So let's rent this guy. No, that's not what I want. Here. Yeah, double click. Lease. Yes. Oh, 4 grand. Base cost per day is $7.95. So every day we're gonna get hit with $7.95 for this guy. So we need to get moving. Let's roll. Let's roll! So now that it is dark, you can see it's speeding up. Whoops, time is speeding up. I probably should have waited. That is a really cool unfolding. That is really cool. Alright, we need to get up to our cornfield. Probably should have waited. I probably should have waited until the next day. I think I'm going to get smacked right here at 2,400 hours or 0 hours. I think I'm going to get smacked with a $700 fee for having it done on a second day. Whereas if I would have waited, probably wouldn't have got nailed with that. Up the hill we go. Ah. Okay, course play. We gotta load field number 92. 92. Clear current. And grab the green combine grains. Load course. Okay. Now we did get smacked with some vehicle leasing costs there, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So, wait, why did oh, of course it. Oh, because I always do that. Field 92, then go load course, then click what you're loading. Okay. Then find your start point. It should be over here by the road. Oh, fuck off with the snow. As soon as I load the course, it starts snowing. Cannot harvest during the rain. Annoying. Yeah, waiting for the rain to finish. Alright. So we'll grab our tractor here. Zoom, zoom. Grab our trailer. Need to head up the hill with this guy. Offload our corn when she's ready. I'm just gonna park her up at the top of the field here, I think. Find a spot. Big field. Maybe right about here. Park her right about here. That way it'll be ready. Alright, now I need to take a look at my map here. See what our field status is for 9.3. Our field status is plowed. Wait, it's plowed? Does that mean I don't have to cultivate it? Huh. Oh, you bugger, you just dropped a layer of snow on me. Yeah, I think that means I don't have to cultivate it, but I'm going to cultivate it anyway, just to be 100% sure. Look at my weight. Front end weight. Go. And we're going to load field 9.3. 9.3, load, small blue cultivator. Okay. So the harvester should be running now because the snow stopped. Or the quote-unquote rain stopped. Oh, yeah, there he is. Okay. And corn does not have a straw swath, so we're not going to run into the issues we had yesterday with it just shitting it out at the last moment. That was actually rather funny. Kind of reminded me of the what the hell are they called? Um, the dinosaur in Ark. The dinosaur in Ark. The one that. The one that when you feed it the stim berries, it shits its brain out. That's exactly what that combine reminded me of the other day. The last episode, the end of the last episode. Oh my god. Laugh hard. That was hilarious. Okay. You're on the go. Get to it. Get this field cultivated and replanted. How's that? Oh, we're going to need a rock harvester up here too. Don't think we need this guy right this second, but I'll move him to staging. How you doing? You're already 70%. Jeepers creepers. Yeah, corn is a big one. Corn definitely fills up the trailers quick. Let's go catch up to our combine. Start offloading before he decides he's going to stop. This is a really nice... I like this field. This is a nice field. Look at that shiny golden corn. Absolutely beautiful. I am under you. You can dump, you know, Mr. Combine. Are you going to... Why are you not emptying? Why are you not... No, what is your problem? You have more corn than that. You gotta have more corn than that. It looks like you're full. You do have more corn than that. Why aren't you dumping? Okay, let's try this again. Maybe you'll dump this time. There you go. No, don't drive, you dummy. At least you're emptying now. Oh, it says empty when over 85%. So maybe I started trying to empty it before it was at 85%. It just decided it wasn't going to do it. It's like, not going to do it. There's a steady flow of corn coming out of this guy. There's no break. I'm pretty sure I got him empty, but that's how fast he's filling up. It's just not stopping. We're at a 26% full trailer. Jesus. We've only done 1.5 loops. Welcome to corn. Welcome to corn harvesting. Oh. But for a second there, we hit the very end. Alright, I'll swing out and let you get refilled again. Okay. Back over to this guy who's doing a wonderful job cultivating this field. Okay. Now you guys. Need to get my tools, get my gear. Other way. Dang it. No, turn the other way, you stupid. Come on out of there. Do I drag you out? Do I drag you out by my... Just do this. Bring it down on top of you or behind you, whatever I gotta do here. Pull you out. Come on, you. Get on out here. A little ways out. Not enough. A little ways out. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. There we go. Oh, 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 I flipped it. I did some kind of weird flippy thing. I got him pointing to the ground now. Okay, now I just got to turn around so I can get them from the back. There we go. Alright. Straight forks there. I don't actually need these forks, I just wanted to get them the hell out of there so I could rotate them right. Put them back down. Like that. What I really need is this trailer. Need my flat deck trailer. So we'll grab that. Bring it on over here. Nice snow sled. Okay, now we're going to drop you. We're going to grab our bale stacker. Let's get area here. Come on. Oh, you don't have to be that perfect, do you? Oh, there it is. Okay. Like this. Turn on the auto load. Start grabbing up some bales here. Stop auto-load. I'm just going to stack them from the back straight on. Oh. How'd you shift? Whoa, 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 whoa. Don't go getting all... Don't go getting all screwy on me. Why? This is a nice machine, this bale picker. It might actually be faster doing it this way than it is with the actual bale trailer. That was fine. Ooh. Almost screwed up there. Come on, you. You're loaded. There we go. Boom. Alright. This is an awesome machine, man. This bale picker. I love this thing. Does such an awesome job. Not just picking up the bales, but also loading the bales, like stacking them. We're almost done. I know my combine's got to be unloaded, but I'm almost done with these bales, so finish stacking the bales and then I'll unload the combine. Look at that. Perfect. Couldn't have done better. Drop this guy here. Hook up to our trailer. Strap those guys up. And load it. All right. Bales to market. All right, let's go swap out or let's go dump or empty our combine here. Who is? Where the hell is he? Way down. Oh, I see him. I see him. Way down at the other end. Looks like he was on his way up. I kind of like how they pull off the field so you can unload. Let's get this trailer filled, boy. Get this trailer filled. Poor Nelly. We got the corn. Alright. Okay, still rolling. Let's get these to market. Can't even tell where the road is. Oh, there it is. That blanket of snow just covers everything until you get up to it. I wonder why my view range seems so low. I got an option to up for that. Crops and growth, vehicle control, AI workers, nothing there. That's key bindings. General settings. Camera. Sound, nothing there. There's no view distance setting there. I don't think it would be anywhere else. It's courseplay, weather, statistics. Let's see any of the settings there to like change the view range. Oh, we're back to grass. Because it's like the crops. You can see how close the crops start showing up. If I could like double that, it would probably be a much more enjoyable visual experience. I'd still be able to see the crops appearing, you know, in the distance, but it wouldn't be as close to the tractor as it is now. It seems really close. I bring food for the critters. Since I have no critters myself that utilize this food, I shall bring it here. I like how it doesn't start taking until you shut off the straps. There we go. 14 grand in bales, nice. Yeah, load that back on. Notwithstanding, we do have a loan to pay back as well. Where are we at with our loan anyway? Our loan is 45. We can pay back most of it. I do like being loan-free. Even in real life, I like being loan-free. Loan-free, debt-free. Doesn't always happen. In fact, it's rare for it to happen. But it's nice when it does. Even loans you don't really consider loans. Like, you know, car, motorbike, all that stuff. The motorbike's paid off in January. That'll be that loan off my back. Car's paid off a year from then. That'll be that loan off my back. Until you have those kind of payments and loans, or whatever you want to call them, you don't realize how nice it is when you don't have them. You think everything's great. It's like, yay, I'm getting a car, da 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 da. And then, you know, 4 years down the road, you're going, oh, 1 year left. 1 year left in payments. Like, kind of the same thing with the motorbike. It's like, oh, God, 1 year left. Well, actually, 1.5 months left. So that one I'm actually looking forward to. Looking forward to getting the paper that says, hey, guess what? Paid in full. And then you have, my friends, what I like to call, well, what everybody likes to call, equity. Once you own your vehicles, once you own your house, well, I mean, a house you really can have equity without quote-unquote owning it. That's what mortgages are, and second mortgages, and stuff you don't want to actually ever have to do. You never want to have to do a second mortgage. One mortgage is enough. Not that I would know. Never owned my own home. Wanted to, but never have. The last home I lived in was owned by NX. Little note on that to any guys out there: never, ever, ever, ever put money into a house owned by a woman unless you have a stake in that house. Unless you have some kind of claim to that house. I must have dumped over at least 10 grand into my ex's house, working on it, rebuilding the deck, putting in, plus labor, if you include labor as well. Like, I dug a new drainage system. I fixed the roof on the garage. I built her a garden, standing garden. Built her a standing garden. Built a deck. You know, all that stuff out of my own work pocket, while paying her quote-unquote rent, which we had agreed upon. We had agreed upon $600 monthly would be my contribution to you know, just living there. As far as, and it wasn't meant to be rent. It was meant to help with the bills that she had even prior to me showing up. So like internet bills, power bills, utilities. That was my contribution to that. We agreed $600 would be my contribution to all of that. And it went fine like that for a while. And as you know, as we looked forward to marriage and all that, or as I looked forward to marriage and all that, I got comfortable putting more money into it, more money into her house, which I thought was going to be our house one day. So started putting more money into it, and next thing you know, she's coming to me one day and she says, "I don't think this is working out." Shocked the hell out of me, because I had she gave no signs of being unhappy, anything like that. Anything she asked, she wanted to do. You know, she wanted to go out for dinner. We went out for dinner. She wanted to go, you know, start biking. We went and bought bikes. So, you know, it just goes to show some women can't be satisfied. But that specific woman was one of those ones who never ever wants the honeymoon phase, quote unquote, to end. Or not necessarily the honeymoon phase, but you know that dating phase where you start off and everything is just so perfect, and you know, you see each other every 2 seconds and you never want to be apart, and you're clinging to each other, and you know that first phase of being together until reality kicks in, where you start, you know, sacrificing things like work hours and sleep hours and all that just to see them. Yeah, there's a lot of women that never want that to end, but in reality, nobody can keep up that pace. It's nice while it lasts. It's great at the start of a relationship, but absolutely nobody can keep up that kind of pace. You can't always afford to go out every week, every 3 times a week, 2 times a week. You can't afford it. You got bills to take care of. You know, you got stuff to do. You got things to pay for around the house. It's not realistic. So, yeah. And she was also one of those women where I ran into her, you know, a month later or whatever, and she was like, "Oh, I met this new guy and he takes me out all the time," and it's like, okay, well, whatever. You're gonna find out just like you did with me, woman. That doesn't last. You can't constantly be doing that. It's not realistic. So, yeah, you might be going out, you know, 3 times, 4 times a week now. That's only because he doesn't live with you. That's only because he doesn't get to see you every single second of the day. Why are you shut down? Oh, waiting for the rain. Yeah, and then, you know, there's other factors that enter into play too. A lot of other factors enter into play. Like, there's a lot of women out there, and men, who will take things for granted. You know, you do nice things for them at the start of the relationship, which is great. That is usually how it goes. And then it gets to a point where they expect that. It's no longer something nice that you're doing. It's something that you are expected to do. When that happens, and it turns into an actual chore, or it turns into an actual demand, then it loses the special It loses the special feeling that it had for the person who is actually doing it. You know, there's no longer a, hey, I'm doing something nice for you. It's, oh my God, she's forcing me to do this again. You know, it changes the way, the change of perception actually changes perception for the person who does it as well as the person who's now expecting it to be done. So, if your man does nice things for you, appreciate it. Don't start expecting it, don't start demanding it, just appreciate it. And same the other way around. If your woman does nice things for you, appreciate it. Don't start demanding it or expecting it or requiring it as part of your relationship. This is something nice that they do for you. Appreciate it. The second you start demanding it, it's no longer something nice that they do for you. It's something that you're demanding them to do. So don't lose that. Don't let that get in the way. I don't know how this turned into a relationship conversation. But it somewhat did. Learn from the things that I've been through. I have been a good man, and I have been a good man, I have been a good partner, and I have been a bad partner. And I have learned from being a bad partner what didn't work. And I have learned from being a good partner that sometimes being a good partner isn't enough. So, what you really have to do is find a partner who's as good as you. That's what you really have to do. If you are a good partner, you need to find a partner that matches what you put in. And that's where the whole 50-50 thing comes. When they're talking about 50-50, it's not like, you know, 50% of the time you do dishes and 50% of the time I do dishes. That's not what it means at all. When you say 50-50, because really there is no 50-50 when it comes to a household. When it comes to a household, both of you have to give 100%. 100%. There's no 50-50. When you talk about 50-50, what you're talking about is matching each other's energy, matching each other's basically what you do for each other as far as outside of simple household tasks. You know, does he buy you flowers? Do you buy him flowers? Does he appreciate you? Do you appreciate him? Do you respect him? Does he respect you? That's where the 50-50 comes in. You can't have one person giving all the respect. You can't have one person doing all the nice things. You can't have one person suggesting everything. People need breaks. People need breaks, and if you're constantly the one that's making plans, if you're constantly the one that's coming up with things to do, like what should we do tonight, or what should we do tomorrow, or, you know, where should we eat? If you are constantly the person coming up with that, it will wear on you so badly. You're a partner. You're a partnership. You need to take turns. You need to take turns of being in charge. And if you have a man in your life or a woman in your life who doesn't like to take charge, you have to start pushing them to take charge. You have to go, I'm not making the decision tonight of where we're going to eat. You're making the decision tonight of where we're going to eat because I've made the decision the last 30 times. It's lady's choice or it's man's choice, whatever. You have to put your foot down and say, no, I'm tired of making decisions today. It's your turn to make a decision. Some people will like that. Some people will not like that. But the thing is, the important thing is you set your limits. Say, okay, it's your turn. Your turn to be the boss. Which, I mean, women will do this too. You walk in the door. You walk in the door and you got the kids there and your wife's looking at you. It's like, it's your turn with the kids. You know, it's the same thing. There's no difference. It's your turn with the kids. Well, it's your turn to decide where we're going for supper. You have to take turns. And that's what 50-50 is all about. But, like I said, in the homestead, you gotta give 100%. You gotta give 100%. There's no half-assing it. The second you don't give 100%, stuff falls behind, and then it's twice as hard. Or 3 times as hard. So, like I say, just you need to get a partner that matches you. Or that is willing to match what you put in. Unfortunately, that partner was not willing to match what I put in. She wanted me to do everything. And I did everything. And look at what it got me. It got me nothing. It got me having to start my life over yet again. So, no longer do I go into things, you know, basically giving everything when they give nothing. I now go in at 50% of what they give. 50-50. And I think it works out. I think it works out. As my current fiance can attest, sometimes she's a little, she gets a little agitated sometimes when I'm, sit back and go, no, it's your turn to decide. Because she doesn't want to make a decision. Some days she does, some days she doesn't. But you know what? It's just I've learned that's you have to do that. You have to say, okay, you're making the decisions tonight. I'm done making decisions. I don't want to make another decision. It's your turn. Got to put down the thing. And you can't always let them have what they want. You can't. You have to put yourself first at times. Because occasionally, I'm not going to say they're not going to put you first at times, but there are times when you have to put yourself first. And they have to put themselves first. There are times when they have to put themselves first. Can't always be about you. And it can't always be about them. Doc Jodian's tips for success. I mean, in reality, I've been through numerous relationships, and where, they last about 5 years. I would say on average, they last about 5 years. The good relationships, they last about 5 years, in my case. And it's I learned something from each one of them. I have learned something from each one of them, and those are the things. Those are the things that I've learned. The first lesson was a really hard one. The very first lesson was an extremely hard one. That, of course, was the first wife. Never, ever, ever let a woman get you into debt for their own benefit. For their own benefit. Even if it looks like it's for your benefit. Even if it looks like it's for your benefit. If it benefits them more than you, don't let them get... Don't. Just don't. Just don't. That ex-wife, her first little thing was to buy me a truck. She went and got a truck in my name. Which I didn't really understand at the time. She went and she went and did all the lease agreement, but she did it as a gift, quote unquote gift. It was done in my name, which I didn't realize at the time meant I was on the hook, even though my name wasn't on the actual lease agreement. I was on the hook for it because the vehicle was under my name, and I ended up having to go down and sign and say, yes, put it under my name. This is my vehicle. So the fact that it ended up under my name meant that it was my vehicle, yes, but guess who was the one who was driving it all the time? I'll tell you right now, it wasn't me. And then the second vehicle, that one got traded in after 3 years. And then the second vehicle wasn't even put in my name. The vehicle that was in my name got traded in, and the vehicle that... Oh, snow. Great. The vehicle that was in my name got traded in, and the vehicle that we got from that trade-in was in her name. Which should have been a warning sign to me, looking back on it. Because why would you trade in a vehicle in my name? Why would you trade in a vehicle that we've leased in my name, even though I didn't agree to put it in my name until like after you got it and made a big deal about it and was like, "Yay, this is a gift to you. This is my gift to you." Da 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 da. You know, so in love that I just fell for it. And then you trade that in, and you get the vehicle in your name. The next vehicle. I'm like, huh, interesting. So I lost the vehicle. You gained a vehicle. And it was a nicer vehicle. the vehicle that she put in her name was a nicer vehicle. She got a nice little sporty truck for me, and she got a big ass truck for her. And once again, who was driving it? I wasn't driving it. In fact, half the time I ended up walking home because she'd forget to pick me up. She would need the truck, quote unquote need the truck, during the day when I went off to work. And I found out later she wasn't really needing the truck. She was just hanging out with her friends, driving them all around town, playing a big shot. But yeah, so she needed the truck. And by needing the truck, I left her with the truck. And then, end of my work shift comes along. I'm standing at work for half an hour, 45 minutes, and then I finally say, fuck it, and walk home, which took another hour and a half to walk home. So, and you know what? I never got pissed off. I never got pissed off at her. I never yelled at her. Anything. She'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I fell asleep." Whatever. Never yelled at her. Never bitched at her. Nothing. Not a damn thing. And looking back on it, maybe I should have. Because what happened later was she ended up, with that same truck, she ended up using it to help a guy out who was a friend of a friend. And then I found out later she was cheating on me with him. So, because he was due to have some money, he was due to get a big payout from a insurance claim, a work insurance claim. So, yeah, watch those women. The next woman was even worse, though. She had an inferiority complex that was just right out the window. Once again, did everything I could for her. Worked a job that I hated, you know, paid the bills, and she repaid me by accusing me of sleeping with my boss. Because I talked about my boss all the time, she accused me of having an affair with my boss. In the meantime, this was a woman who I worked for who I hated with a passion. She was the biggest power-tripping nonsense boss that I've ever had in my entire life. I could not stand her. I complained about her all the time. And apparently, because I complained about her all the time, that woman thought I was cheating on her with that boss that I was always bitching about. Don't know where the logic is in that one. Don't really know the logic in that one. I come to you bitching about somebody, I'm definitely not sleeping with them. I come to you bitching about somebody, I usually want to deck them. There is no attraction there at all. Zero, zilch, nothing. So anyway, that's how that one went. Just insecurity ruined that relationship. But you know what? It is what it is. It is what it is. I can't say that I don't have problems myself. I definitely have trust issues. As my current fiance can attest, she's been wanting to get married for years now, and I'm not going to say I've been on the fence, because I haven't been on the fence. I've been willing, but I'm not. What's the term I want to use here? I'm not busting my ass to get it done. I'm not sacrificing anything to get it done. Like, she wants to go down to the courthouse and just do it. Yeah, no problem. Let's go do it. But she would like the wedding, and I am personally not interested in the wedding because I think it's a big waste of money. But she wants it, so, you know, I told her, get the money saved up, and then we'll have the wedding you want. I'm not sacrificing myself to pay for a wedding. I have a lot of my own responsibilities to take care of. I will help with the wedding. I will pay my share of the wedding. But I ain't paying it all. I ain't paying it all. Not that she would ever expect me to. This is a very good woman that I have found. I don't believe for a minute she would expect me to pay for the whole wedding. But, you know, it ain't cheap to have a wedding. And I don't want to be the one taking the blame for it not happening in a timely fashion. So like I said, you know, if the money's the problem, we just don't do the big wedding. We don't do the big wedding. We go to the courthouse, get it done. It only costs a couple $100 to do that. If you want the party, it's gonna have to wait until we can afford the party. That's basically where I'm at with that situation. And I don't think it's actually I don't actually think it's a bad thing. You really shouldn't have a wedding if you can't afford it. My first wedding, to that same woman who, like I said, bought the trucks and whatever. That was 10 grand. Actually, it was more than 10 grand. That wedding was like 10 grand. That I know of. It was 10 grand that I know of. I know there were additional fees in there, like her hair and all that stuff like that. But just the facilities and the food, and I think my outfits and the tuxedos and whatever and the dresses, not including her wedding dress, I think it was about 10 grand. So, and you don't make that back. You do not make that back. And it's just for a day. It's for one. You spend that in one day, which is why places are so eager to have weddings, because you're making a massive income in one day. But yeah, even back then, when I was all for the wedding and I was like, yes, wedding, great, awesome, you know, it's gonna be so much fun. You know what? Actually living through it, it was not fun. It wasn't fun. The wedding was not fun. It had its moments, just like any party. It had its moments, but fun, I would not rate it as a fun experience. It was a very time crunching. You know, it almost felt like you're at a job or something, because you had to be at one place at one time. You had to be at another place at another time. You were always rushing. You're uncomfortable. Anybody who says wearing a full wedding outfit for an entire day is comfortable is just kidding themselves. It is not, especially in the summer. Holy crap! I was sweating so bad. Yeah, it was just the cummerbunds were kind of tight. They didn't really give you any kind of leeway. It's almost like wearing a corset, kind of. It was not. I wouldn't call it a fun experience at all. And then by the end of the night, and all the scheduling, like the first dance and the chair, not the chair dance, the what do you call it, the removal of the strap that the woman wears. I forget what they call it off the top of my head here. You know, removal of that was at a specific time, and then we had the speeches and the toasts and you know, it was just, there was so much scheduling that went on that we didn't have a moment. We didn't have a moment to breathe. The wedding was a blur. The whole day was a blur. Get up in the morning, get ready, go to the church, do that, off to get pictures taken, and then back to the reception, and that's got a schedule to it. You might get to eat in between speeches and toasts and all that. You might get to eat. People tinging their glasses for you to kiss every 2 seconds. It was constant go 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 the entire day. You did not have a chance to enjoy it. You didn't have a chance to even think about it. You had no chance to even think about what you were actually doing. You know, marrying the quote unquote love of your life. There was no moment to just sit back and go, this is amazing. We're doing this, you know. And I don't feel it was worth it. I don't. Especially with how things turned out. I mean, I might not be so pessimistic if things had actually turned out. Then again, even before things went sour in that relationship, I was like, can you believe that we spent 10 grand? You know how much that could have helped us out, get into a house, or Stuff like that. Could have helped pay for a house, could have helped pay for all kinds of stuff. 10 grand is a lot of money. Well, it was a lot of money. I'm not gonna say it's a lot of money nowadays. But it was a lot of money then. That was like, what, 20 years ago? Nah, maybe more like, how long have I been divorced? 15? Something like that. Anyway, it was a while ago. Prices were definitely better, especially housing prices. 10 grand could have got us into a nice little house. It would have been a good down payment on a nice little house. But instead, we spent it all in one day on a wedding that for a marriage that didn't last. Like, so nowadays, yeah, I guess I'm a little pessimistic when anybody talks marriage. Just because I've been, well, not necessarily marriage, but weddings. When anybody talks weddings, I'm a little pessimistic. Been there, done that. Did not see the benefit to it at all. As far as I'm concerned, it's a party for everybody but us. Like, it's a party for everybody but the bride and groom. People talk it being the bride and groom's special day. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's nice having the ring on your finger, but there's a lot easier ways to do that, and a lot less expensive ways of doing that. Alright, we'll drop this here. And we will grab our rock collector. We use the big tractor. Because our other guy's finished his job. I wanted to leave him up there. You've probably been going, hey, he's been finished for a while. Yeah, I know. I wanted to actually leave him up there because I didn't want to, where is he? Where the hell is he? Did I not leave him up there? Oh, I didn't. Damn it, I brought him down. I actually wanted to leave him up there because I knew the cornfield was going to be next. 9-2? 9-2. Load. Load field 9-2. Clear current course, load course, small blue cultivator. Okay. So yeah, I mean, no offense to anybody who wants a wedding. If that is what you want, then you should definitely go for what you want. You should, you know, enjoy your day, whatever. But as somebody who's been through it, like I said, I still to this day don't see the benefit. I do not see the benefit of an actual large wedding. Like I said, that if you manage to save up all that money, it could go to so much more. It could help you get started on your life together instead of being blown on a party that you're barely gonna care about 2 years down the road or 1 year down the road even. You know, it's not the party that's the point. The point is putting a ring on somebody's finger and saying I do, and you don't need a party to do that. But like I said, it's to each their own. It's your special day. So however you choose to do it, whether you choose to just go get hitched and maybe, you know, have your own little private dinner with your new spouse, You know, go to some fancy restaurant. Tell them you just got married. They might even do something special for you. Or, you know, go and do what a lot of people do and do what's called eloping. Plan a vacation around it. Plan a trip. Hell, if you're gonna make it memorable, you might as well at least make memories instead of, you know, making memories for somebody else. Make memories for yourself. Have a party. Don't have a party, I should say. Don't have a party. Don't have a party for everybody else. Have a party for yourself. Go on vacation. Go take some stuff off your bucket list together, you know? That's what I would recommend. If you're gonna blow like 10 grand or more on some kind of wedding ceremony, you know what? I say screw that. I say I say elope. Go do something for you. Go do something that you're gonna remember way down the road. Don't waste it on a party for everybody else, which is basically what a wedding is. It's a party for everybody else. It's a party for the 200 and some guests that you've invited. It's not actually for you. But like I said, I could be a little pessimistic. I could be a little pessimistic. Been there, done that, didn't work out. Actually, I should correct that. I should say, been there, done that, didn't work out, have nothing to show for it. I don't even have memories of like a good day or a good vacation or anything. There's just nothing. The wedding just leaves you with nothing. Again, don't mind me. Probably a little pessimistic because of the things that have happened. And I'm not saying marriage is bad. Marriage is definitely not bad. I actually believe in marriage. I believe it's very important for two people who are together and planning a life together. I believe marriage is very important. Not so much the religious aspect of it. I don't believe in any of the religious aspects of it, because I am not a religious person. In fact, I am about as big of a non-believer as you can get. Not like Satanist or anything like that. Because you have to believe in religion to be a Satanist. I don't know how people get that backwards. How people could think atheists are Satanists. That doesn't make sense, because if you don't believe in God, you don't believe in Satan. So how can you be a Satanist? I mean, it sounds to me like just something that, you know, religious people make up to badmouth people who are actually atheists. But no, as an atheist, I do not believe or care about any of the religious aspects to a wedding. What I care about is the vows that you're making to your partner. Whether you fulfill those vows or not, I mean, hey, that's on you. Why is he so far away from the edge of the field? What am I missing here? Or did I run the mower down the side of the field over here? Oh shit, I went nearest waypoint. God. First waypoint, damn it. It's not even following the proper waypoint. He followed this waypoint here and went up that. First waypoint. Now we should be on the right track. Although, you know what, I brought that width down quite a bit. I brought it down, like, at least 2 meters. Maybe even 3 meters. And it still looks like it's just barely touching the edge of the field. I don't think it's going to catch the corners. Like this corner up here, how it's sharper, I don't think it's going to catch it. Anyway, so yes, my wife to be wants to have a wedding, and I am all for that. She wants to have a wedding, and we're going to have a wedding. But like I said, it's not going to be something that, you know, I end up killing myself over to have. And I've kind of made it clear to her that it is her wedding. So it's you know, I will help with planning it. I will help with you know, making the day special for her. I will even help pay for it, but I will not be the sole provider of that, and I will not kill myself to make it happen. And that's part of a relationship. There's compromise in there. You have to be willing to compromise. We both have our traumas, which, you know, pretty much everybody my age has some kind of trauma. Or everybody our age, I should say, has some kind of trauma. Whether it be from physical or emotional or just being used and thrown away, or there's always some kind of trauma in people that are my age and single. If you're my age and have been happily married for 20 years, then, you know, you likely don't have any. But, you know, single people in their late 30s and 40s, there's going to be some trauma there. There's going to be some things you got to work through. And it's going to require compromise. It's going to require patience. And it's going to require understanding. You got to understand where their trauma is, and they got to understand where your trauma is. And well, like I said before, if only one side of the party is actively working on it, then you're going to have problems. And that's not how it should be anyways. Both sides need to be there for each other. That's where the 50-50 comes in. It's actually, I don't even like the term 50-50. It should be 100-100. Not only in the household, but in the relationship too. It should be 100-100. Your partner should be giving you their 100%, and you should be giving them 100%. There should be no, no slacking off in that regard. So you should be matching what they're putting in, is basically what it is. And there's an easy trap that happens when you say something like that, because all of a sudden it means the one person will go, oh, well, I'm going to wait for them to put in their 100%. I'm not going to put in my 100% until they put in their 100%. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. You put in your 100%. If you see that they're not reciprocating that 100%, then you have a discussion. But you put in your 100%. Because if you hold back and you don't put in that 100%, and they're waiting for you to put in that 100%, you're waiting for them to put in that 100%. Nobody's putting in the 100%. Then who are you going to blame? You can't blame them. You're just as guilty for not putting in 100%. You're just as guilty. So, no, there's no sitting back and saying, well, I'm going to wait for them to put in their 100%. It doesn't work that way, sweetheart. It doesn't work that way. If you aren't putting in your 100%, it doesn't matter whether they put in their 100%. You're just as bad. So what you need to do is you need to come into the relationship, you need to put in your 100%, and if they don't, then that's when you have the discussion. That's when you back off. You say, you know what, I'm giving my everything here, and I don't see a whole lot coming from you. And when you reach that point and you have that discussion, there's only two ways it can go. Either they can say, okay, I'm gonna step up, and they do, or they say, well, I don't feel you were giving your 100%. In which case, you might as well not even stay. You might as well not even continue at that point. If they're like, well, I was waiting for you to give your 100%, you're like, well, I've been giving my 100%. And they're like, well, I was waiting to see it. Then you are never going to be enough for them. So there's no point wasting your time any further. Because you're already giving your 100%, right? So if you're already giving your 100%, it's not enough for them, then you are never going to be enough for them. So don't waste your time. You can call that bad advice if you want. Some people will call that bad advice, but to me that's just experience. I have given 100% in my relationships. Maybe not all the time. I will say not all the time. I do take my own share of the blame for certain things. I will never take my share of blame for somebody cheating on me. There's absolutely no excuse for that. Whether you have whether you have problems in the bedroom, we never did, but whether you have problems in the bedroom or whether you have problems with your relationships, or maybe you're just looking for something better, there's no excuse. There's no excuse whatsoever for cheating on somebody. Zero. Nada. If you don't have the balls to say, hey, it's over, I'm leaving, I want somebody else, before you cheat, then that's on you. You can't blame them. You can't put the blame on them for any of that. You can't say, oh, my husband made me do it, or oh, my wife made me do it. No, they didn't. They didn't even know it was happening. They didn't walk that person into your bedroom, lay them down on your bed and said, here, do this person. You did that all on your own. There is no my wife made me do it or my husband made me do it. It's all you. So if you're in that situation where you're just not satisfied, not happy, not whatever, you need to sit down and you need to converse with your partner. And you need to tell them, look, I am not happy. I am looking for something else. Or I need to look for something else because this is not working out. Don't drag them along. And I did have an ex that did that. That was the one that I put all the money into the house. And the problem with that is, the reason I'm bitter about that is the fact that I had just put a bunch of money into the house when she came to me and said, you know, this isn't working out. She let me put that money into the house. She never, ever gave me any kind of indication that anything was wrong. Uh, in fact, while I was working on the house, she was coming out and telling me how grateful she was and how happy she was, and you know how much she enjoyed that I did things for her. And it wasn't even a week later that she told me, you know, I feel like we're roommates, and broke up. Wasn't even a week later. So there's bitterness there because of that, and I mean, I think it's understandable. I think it's an understandable bitterness. And yeah, that falls back to the quote-unquote trauma that I talked about. Not all traumas are physical. Not all traumas are, you know, mental. Some traumas are emotional. Some traumas are brought to you by situations that, you know, just being sidelined. So you have issues trusting people because you've trusted before and have been sidelined out of nowhere without even seeing it coming. Is that fair to my future wife? No, I don't think it is. But it's human nature. She has traumas herself. She has abuse traumas, and is that fair to me? Not really, but that's human nature. So you know, you love somebody, you deal with their traumas, you take on their traumas, and you try to help them through it. And I don't know why I'm being so talkative today about this stuff. It's not like I really need to get it off my chest. I just kind of feel like talking about it. And I mean, who better to talk about it with than a whole bunch of strangers? Actually, what I'm trying to do is pass on friendly advice. Trying to pass on friendly advice and give experiences from my own life as to why that advice is valid, and or why I feel it's valid. You may think it's not valid, and you know what, it may not be valid. I feel it's valid. That's why I offer it. But you know what, I like having conversations with my viewers, even if, you know, this is a pre-recorded video. I do like having conversations with my viewers. Gets rid of the monotony, because right now, basically, we're just watching a tractor go back and forth on the field. There's not much to it than that. Oh, we got stuck, because I didn't move this. Alright, let's get this out of this guy's way, so he can do his job. But anyways, so that's my take on marriage. Do I want to get married? Yes. Do I want to have a wedding? Not really. Am I going to have a wedding because my fiance wants one? Absolutely. Am I going to kill myself to make it happen? Not really. Is that called compromise? Absolutely. Our situation is also fairly unique. I shouldn't say unique, but it's not your typical situation. She's an American. I am a Canadian. There's gonna be 2 moves involved in our marriage, which, in all honesty, I do have reservations about. And she knows this. There's the reservation of of moving to America, which is, you know, to me, an extremely scary thing. I am Canadian, and living next to America, I've seen America. Um, I've seen, you know, things that you can't believe, and I don't know. I have my own opinions on America. Not all of them are very nice. But I believe those opinions are justified and deserving. But they're not always nice. They're not always nice opinions. I do have nice opinions about Americans. But I also have some not nice opinions about Americans. I'm sure they have the same with Canadians. Not everybody likes Canadians. Not everybody thinks we're as polite as we supposedly are. Well, we don't claim to be polite. Let's start the conversation right there. Canadians aren't the ones that claim to be polite. Everybody says we're polite. I say that we are. I say that we are polite to your face. Is what that's what I would say. There are a lot of Canadians that are not polite behind your back. So while a Canadian might be super polite to you, in their head they may not be be very polite in their head. It's we've learned to not say what we're thinking, as it were, when it comes to like customer service industry and all that. You're kind of trained not to say what you're thinking, whereas, you know, Americans are more trained to just blurt everything out. Somebody's an asshole, you tell them they're an asshole. Well, in Canada, you're kind of like, oh, yeah, that's great, whatever. And in the back of your head, you're going, oh, this guy's such an asshole. That's kind of how Canadians function. I'll tell you that right now. We can be the nicest people to your face, but we can be complete assholes behind your back. And it is what it is. I mean, that trait is pretty much shared by everybody. But when you talk about Canadians being polite, we're not polite. We're pacifists, for the most part. We don't like to get into other people's business. We like to stay out of wars. We like to stay peacekeepers. You know, we want to be peacekeepers. We want to maintain peace. We don't want to enforce peace through war. We don't want to invade countries. You know, we want everybody to basically live your own life, but at the same time be human. Which is why our forces are more humanitarian and a little less, shall we say, brute. A little less brute force. We'll kick ass in a war, but we don't want to be there. It's kind of like, well, if we have to, we have to, but we don't want to go out of our way to be there. We don't plan for war, we just kind of get dragged along. Anyway, so yeah, as I was saying, there's a couple of, you know, there's situations that take place, and the ones for me, it's like with this situation, it's, you know, there's two moves involved. There's the move, like I said, for me moving to the States, which I'm not too thrilled about, especially now that over 50% of Americans have shown their true colors and voted Trump back in. Like this, it boggles the mind. It absolutely boggles the mind. I have no idea how that could have even happened because I mean, look at his first actions. Look at his first actions. An alleged pedophile is his minister of justice, like, or whatever the hell they call it. Uh, I forget what they call it now, or what name they use. I mean, basically, the lawmaker, law enforcer, whatever, attorney general. I think they call him the attorney general. You got somebody. He selected for his attorney general somebody who is currently under investigation for sleeping with underage women and paying for their transport. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you absolutely mad? This is the best you guys have? And I know my fiance hates when I pick on America, but there's no way you can't pick on America. Like, this shit is... you can't write this stuff. There's no way this could be a simulation, because there's no way you could write this stuff. You could not come up with it in a million years. I mean, and just to say how outrageous it is, The Simpsons came up with it. And The Simpsons is not some, some prediction of the future like people make it out to be. What they do in The Simpsons is come up with, just like they do in every other show, they come up with absolutely surreal situations that will likely never occur. And the fact that they are occurring just goes to show how fucked up things are. You know? It's kind of like me making a show about dumpster diving or something like that, and then all of a sudden that becomes a national pastime, which kind of has, but, I mean, it's something that back in the 80s you were like, oh, dumpster diving, da-da-da-da-da, nobody's ever going to do this. And then nowadays it's something people do all the time, because we've become a throwaway society, and people throw good shit in the dumpster. Like, it's just, it's not predicting the future, it's just coming up with ludicrous ideas, and then those ludicrous ideas actually become a reality because the world is that screwed up. It boggles my mind, man. It just does. And it makes me worry. It really makes me worry. Like, as a Canadian, moving to the United States, even for the 5 years that I'm only going to supposedly be there, because we're planning on moving to Canada, which is my second caveat, moving back to Canada. So, moving to the States for me is just, it's a massive ask. And it's just because, number one, I don't want to live in the States. I don't. I'm willing to do it because, when you love somebody, that's what you do. You go outside your comfort zone and you do things for them. So it's something I'm willing to do, with the caveat being that, within 5 years we move back to Canada. Because moving to America has got so many drawbacks. Education-wise, for the kids, health-wise, for all of us. Healthcare in the States is absolutely idiotic. It's beyond idiotic. I have no idea how Americans can even survive their healthcare system. Seeing some of the payments that are needed just for things like braces, like dental braces. Seeing some of the just to go see a family doctor, for crying out loud. The amount of expense, the amount of money paid to insurance companies to even get rid of a portion of that expense, because it doesn't. I'm finding that their insurance companies don't actually cover everything. They cover, which is ridiculous for the amount of money they apparently cost. I mean, you're giving up half your paycheck, and then they say, oh well, you still have to pay for this, and this. Like, are you freaking kidding me? So just the thought of giving up my OHIP the Ontario, well, Canada. Canada has different. Each province has their own system. In Ontario, it's called OHIP. But just giving up my OHIP coverage, where I can go to the doctor anytime I want, for free, find out what's wrong, go get a prescription, which is usually 99% covered by either the government or by my work insurance, which only costs me like $20 off my paycheck, not hundreds and hundreds of dollars off my paycheck. No, like $20 off my paycheck. That's what my insurance costs. So I go get a prescription, and I pay like $4 for a prescription. I have allergy pills. I have pills for my stomach. And I have some other pills. And when I go to a pharmacy and I get them refilled, it's like $4 for this one, maybe $6 for that one, maybe $2 for another one. It's like under $10 for all of my prescriptions to get them filled. And when I tell Americans this, they're just flabbergasted. They have no idea how that could even be possible. And I'm like, well, I live in a country that has socialized medicine. Yeah, our taxes are a little higher. You don't notice it. You do not notice your taxes are higher. You know why you don't notice your taxes are higher? Because we've grown up with it. So, growing up, having taxes at a certain level, it's like America. When you go to the grocery store in America, do you automatically go, oh my God, 6% tax? Oh my God, 6%. No, you just pay the damn bill. It doesn't hit you. You don't even, you've already acclimated to it. It's there. You already know that if you buy something for $1, it's going to cost you $1.06. You already know that. Or if you buy something for $100, you need $106 or $110, whatever. You already know that. You're already acclimated to it. It's not something new. It's there. So, you know, people get all up in arms about raising taxes. Taxes, oh my God, we're going to raise taxes. They're going to give us socialized medicine, but they're going to raise taxes. Yeah, you know who's going to notice that tax raise? You are. Your kids are not. Your kids who are going to benefit from it, your kids who are going to grow up in that system where they don't have to worry whether or not they can afford to be healthy, are never going to know what they're missing. They're never going to know the difference. It's going to be just like 6% is to you, 8% will be to them, or 9%, or whatever the tax ends up being. They're not going to miss it. It's going to come off their paycheck, it's going to vanish, they're not even going to know it's gone. And when they go to a grocery store and they go, oh, okay, I'm going to buy this for this $100 thing and it costs them $108, they're not going to care. They're not going to care. You know why they're not going to care? Because they can go to the doctor anytime they friggin' want. And not have to pay for it out of their pocket. And not have to worry about, can I take out a loan for the surgery that I need to have? It's not going to be a factor. Prescription prices are going to drop. You know why? Because the government's going to get involved. The government's going to start paying for your prescriptions because the government is now the one who is fitting the bill. Instead of you fitting the bill, the government's now fitting the bill. So what are they going to do? Are they going to take the same, shafting as you when it comes to paying out prescriptions? No. So your prescription prices are going to drop. $1,000 for a pill? No, not going to happen. You know why? Because the government will find an alternative. They're not going to fork out $1,000 for a pill. They're going to say, oh, there's an alternative on the market. We're gonna go with that one. And then all the doctors will start prescribing that alternative. That's how it works. I thought I had a trailer up here, but I guess I don't. So your prescription prices are going to go down. Your fill prices are going to go down. Your health is going to be better. because now you can actually go to the doctor without having to worry about mortgaging your house again. So when I think of giving that up, when I think of walking away from that, it kind of makes me sick. It kind of makes me nauseous. I'm like, why am I going to give that up? And I get it. I get it. I understand it. I am the one who doesn't have kids. I am the one who is easier to move, which is why, I'm the logical choice of the person to move. I get that. I understand that, and I've accepted that. The one thing that worries me, and I'm not saying that my fiance would ever do this, this comes back to the whole trauma talk before. And the one thing that I have trouble dealing with, because I have been burned so many times, is, when I move down there, what guarantee do I have? Because now I'm married, now I'm locked in. Now she can claim support and claim this and claim that, and claim 50% of my assets, yada yada yada. Not that I really have any assets, but it's when a guy gets married, he's on the hook for a lot. And what guarantee do I have other than her word that we're going to end up moving back to Canada? Because I will not be stuck in the United States for the rest of my life. I refuse. Like, I have a hard 5-year limit. That's it. That is it. And even that 5 years is going to be hard because I got to get relicensed for my career. I'll have to get new driver's permits, new driver's licenses. I'll have to. There's so much. There's so much that goes into it. And it's not as simple as people think. It's not as simple as, hey, now you're married, you have your visa, now you can move. It's not that simple. I've been looking into it, and the more I look into it, the more nauseous I get over it. The more anxious I get over it, I should say. A lot of people will move to America and just pick up like there's nothing to worry about. But I mean, I don't have it that easy. I have a career that requires certification. I have, when I move to the States, it requires me to get certified in the States. I have firearms that I would have to bring with me, so I'd have to be registered in the States to own firearms. I'd have to figure out, medical stuff. I'd have to change doctors, find a new doctor, find out how medical stuff works, because I don't know the American medical system other than it costs a friggin' fortune to to do anything. I mean, I probably would stop going to the doctor because I wouldn't be able to either afford it or want to put that burden on my new family, So, and I hear this all the time online. Why don't guys go to the doctor? Well, here in Canada we do. Here in Canada we do, because there's no reason not to. But I could very easily see myself in the States not going to the doctor unless there's something severely wrong, because I wouldn't want to put that burden on my family. It's just, I don't get it. I don't get it. But you know what? It's something that I'm gonna have to get over, because, like I said, I'm with a woman that I love, and this is her compromise. And marriage and relationships are about compromise, and this is her compromise. She wants, I got to move there for 5 years. Once the kids are all done and off to school and all that, then we're going to move back to Canada. That was what we agreed to. But it's still going to always be in the back of my head. What if I'm getting taken again? What if I'm getting screwed again? And that's not going to happen. I hope that's not the case, and I highly doubt that's the case, but, you know, we all have our trauma responses. We all have our trauma from, past relationships. And that's what we got to deal with. And what happens if the relationship doesn't work out? Because I've been down that road so many times. What happens? What happens if you marry somebody and they're not who they claim to be? Or you didn't see them for who they were, who they actually were. Or maybe they're better than they were. Maybe things are great. Maybe you are the problem. Maybe they realize they can't live with you. There's so many. It's one of those situations where it's just like you want to know the outcome before you have to go through it. You want some assurance, some reassurance, just that everything's going to be okay. And there could be a lot of arguments out there. There could be, well, if you love her, then you should be trusting and assured that everything's going to be okay. Well, yeah, that is true. You should have that. And to an extent, I do. I don't believe this woman would ever hurt me in that way. I don't believe she'd ever be capable of hurting me in that way. In fact, I believe she would sacrifice her happiness in some aspects. I believe that she would sacrifice her happiness for mine. Which, I mean, I would never want. I wouldn't want that. I would want us to both be happy together. But, it's just... you have those trauma things you have to fight through. And like I said, anybody my age has trauma they got to fight through. And it's a struggle. Best thing you can do is just deal with it, which is what I've decided to do. I am definitely for getting married to this woman. I am definitely amiable to moving to the States for a limited time. I've never ever given her the impression that I was going to live in the States long term. In fact, I said flat out that I'm not. I said flat out that I'm not. So, whenever she decides that the wedding is going to happen, it's going to happen. There's still a lot of stuff that's got to be done afterwards. I wish it was as simple as put the ring on the finger and start your life together, but unfortunately it's not. It is put the ring on the finger and then file paperwork and then wait. I think it's 14 months. Wait 14 months for the paperwork to go through the system. So, even being married, it's still going to be, you live in your country and I live in my country for the time being. Which, I'm not looking forward to that either. That's going to really suck. But that's the world we live in. That's the world we live in. We live in a world where people have drawn imaginary lines on maps. Basically said, this is my territory, stay out. I guess that's human nature, though. When you think about it, that's kind of human nature, isn't it? I mean, right from birth, pretty much we have the mine attitude right from birth. How many kids do you see that are like with their toys? My toy, not your toy. It's my toy. And then as you grow up, it's my woman. Well, of course it's your woman. It's my woman. It's my car, my house. Then you put a fence around it. It's my house, and I'm putting a fence around it, so you can't come onto my property. And then the governments, they're like, well, we're gonna draw lines. This line is my province or my state. We're gonna have our own rules in this province, in this state. Then you have another line drawn. Oh, this is our country. We're gonna have specific rules in our country. And then if you want to go even further, you start cutting up land masses. We got North America. This is North America. That over there is South America. North America, we're North Americans. We have we're in this country. We're in North America. Or you're in South America. And the North Americans will be like, "Oh, you're from South America? Oh." The South Americans will be like, "Oh, you're from North America? Oh." It's like we always find ways of drawing lines. We always find the ways of drawing lines. And it was true with the space race too. We had drew lines with the space race. Who's gonna get to space first? Who's gonna claim it? Who's gonna claim space? You can't claim space. But who's gonna claim it? Go to the moon. Who's gonna claim the moon? Who's gonna claim Mars? Who's gonna start planting flags? Who's gonna start planting flags? That this is our spot. We were here first. You know, that's human nature. Humans claim things. What kind of a world would we be in? We didn't have that mentality. If we were just like, no, everything belongs to everybody. Would our world be better? Or would our world be worse? Makes me wonder. I know we wouldn't have money. Money is just another way of claiming things. I have money. Why do you have money? Because I worked. I earned it. It's mine. It's just another way of claiming something. You don't have money. Why don't you have money? Well, you didn't work as hard. Or you weren't born into it, or it wasn't given to you. It's given. It's an object. It's something you can give away. It's something you can own. So once again, we're back to human nature being, you know, mine, mine, mine. This belongs to me. Makes you think, right? This is, I think this is definitely a deep thought video. This is definitely a deep thought video. We went through relationships. We went through good times, bad times. We went through trauma responses. Now we're talking about greed. What's next on the agenda? And I mean, I could be doing stuff here. I'm slacking, really. I got a field that's cultivated. We got the rocks off of it. I could be planting on it right now, but instead I'm just yapping and yammering. It's like, hey, Jody, get the fuck to work. Alright, so what are we going to put in field 9-3? What are we going to put in field 9-3? Should we do another run of wheat? I think we should keep one wheat field going. I definitely think we should keep one wheat field going. You know what I think more than that? I think I need a second weight. I honestly think I need a second weight. I'm not going to buy anything different. I'm going to buy the same weight I got. What do we got over here? What are you? Planter. You are a planter. There's that other conveyor belt. It's on sale. We got a header that is 10.8 wide, and we got the auto-loading trailer, which is on sale for 76% off. That's not bad at all. It carries everything. We don't actually have a truck capable of running that, though. We don't have a truck that suits a gooseneck trailer. Or wait, that's not a gooseneck, that's a fifth wheel. We don't have a truck that suits a fifth wheel trail. That is a big trailer. That's a huge trailer. I can carry everything. Shoot. Okay. Where was I? Weights. I need a weight. I need a weight! Okay. What weight do I have? Actually, what weight do I currently have? What am I currently running? Weight. Get the 1500. Okay. Excuse me. I got the Atco 1500. Uh, 1500. There you are. Get the same one. Excuse me. We'll get the same one. That way there's no real confusion between them. Yeah, we're gonna leave that here. I was like, maybe I should bring that. No. Because I won't be able to drive if I do. I'll be all over the road. Oh. Wait. Come on, brain. Loan paid. Alright. Now we're back into profit again. Okay, so so far we've covered trauma responses and dealing with them, as I am dealing with mine, or trying to deal with mine, trying to be understanding of my fiance's. She's got trauma responses too. Be understanding of hers, be dealing with mine. And we talked about weddings, how even though I believe it's a complete waste of time and money, it's still a special occasion for some people, and there's two pairs to any partnership. There's two sides, and you can't just satisfy the one side. So if she wants a party, we're gonna have a party. That's that's how it goes. With some caveats to that. We talked about trust issues. And the example there was not too comfortable moving with the States because I've been burned before. I highly doubt this woman would ever burn me like that, but I have been burned before by people who I never thought would burn me. And that is something you got to struggle through. You just gotta put your foot forward and say, you know what? If you can't trust, then what's the point of being with somebody? You kind of need to trust. And if they prove you wrong, if they're not worthy of that trust, then that's on them. You have to deal with the repercussions of that, because now you got a mess to clean up. In my case, I would be sitting in the States going, okay, now I got to figure out how I'm getting back to Canada or moving back to Canada. It'd be a huge mess for me, especially if I wasn't prepared for it. But like I said, I don't feel that this woman is one of the type to do that. Definitely not the type to do that. In fact, she is probably the woman that I would trust the most out of all the women I've been with, which really honestly haven't been that much. But out of all the women I've been with, this is probably the woman that I trust the most, um, because she is the most straightforward, um, the most honest. If something's not right, she will tell you. If she's not happy with something, she will tell you. If she's not happy with something you say or something you do, she tells you. She doesn't bottle it up. She doesn't keep it inside. She doesn't, let it sit there and brew until nothing can be done about it. She lets you know. She's very honest about it. Very straightforward about it. And I mean, for me, being kind of a pacifist and not really confrontational about things, I'm a very non-confrontational person. I don't like conflict. Uh, but just facing somebody who is like that myself is very different. It's something I'm still every day having to go, okay, uh, don't take it personally. She's being honest with you about things. The last thing you need to do right now is take stuff personally. um, Especially when she's being so honest with you, you know? That's a rare gift that somebody is that honest to actually not keep it to themselves, to tell you how they're feeling, what they're feeling, and when something bothers them, when something doesn't bother them, when something they like, when something they don't like. You know, it's and trauma response comes in there too, because when is that not planting? Oh, again, nearest waypoint. Frig off with the nearest waypoint. Stop. I don't even know if this thing's planting, because it's not clearing the snow away, so I don't... Are you planting? No, it doesn't appear to be planting at all. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's not. I'm not losing anything. So can I not plant in the winter? There's definitely seed in there. Huh. I wonder if I can't plant with the snow on the ground. Kind of like how you can't do... Uh, um, kind of like how you can't do the straw swath when there's snow on it. So it's quite possible I'm not able to do that. You are done. I need to get rocks now. I need to collect the rocks. Bring this guy down because now the field is done. So anyway, like I was saying, yeah, this woman I actually is the woman that I trust the most out of all the women that I've been with, because she's honest and all that. She's not always she's she I mean, you could say this about anybody. They're not always the most pleasant person to be around. She could say that about me too. Um, and that again comes down to being honest. I believe in being honest, and you know, you're never gonna 100% all the time want to be around somebody. um, whether you love them or not. There's going to be moments where you're like, I just need my space for now, and then, you know, get back to it. It's going to always be that. Doesn't matter who you're with. You could be the most dedicated couple. You could be one of those couples that makes every other couple sick with how um, how lovey and all that you are towards each other. There's still going to be a moment where you're like, okay, I need my time. You know, I need a minute. You're still going to have that. So when you have those moments, you have to realize that it's not the fact that you don't love them or they don't love you, or you're you know, you need your space for a second. You need to think. Nothing they did. It's just you need a moment to be yourself, to think for yourself, without anybody influencing you or without you having to think about anybody else. You just need that time, which to me is basically what this is. When I do videos on my channel, that's basically my time. That's my time to think, my time to process, which is probably why I talk so much. More talking at you than talking with you. It's kind of like my time to process things, without any side influences, without anybody else, you know, telling me what to do or how to do it or how to think or whether I'm right or wrong. I always take comments. I always take comments. Don't get me wrong. I do take comments and I listen to comments. But yeah, it's just that moment where I'm like, you know, I need to think, I need to process what I've been thinking lately, and that's where you go through it, just in those silent moments by yourself. Which I could say, well, I gotta go to this course. Which I could say is a benefit of gaming. There are people out there who think gaming is a total waste of time, and I understand why they might feel that way. But personally, when I think about gaming, to me, it's a time where I can actually chill out, relax, and process the day, process the month, the year, the whatever I need to process what I'm going through. You know, it's a tool for just doing something completely brainless so your brain can actually think. Okay, so this temporary course is 9.3. We got to save that as the large one. Save course, field 9.3, large rock collector. Okay, and we are on course 9.2 right now, so we're going to clear out that course and we're going to create a new course. Excuse me. We're going to bring this down the same as before. I think it was 14.5 we had it at. One headland. Generate. So yes, I've gone off on a tangent so many times during this video. Gone off on a tangent and just started talking about this, that, and the other. About weddings, about relationships, about my relationship even. And that's basically what this is, kind of therapy for me. If we want to call it that. And when it all comes down to it, am I going to move to the States? Of course I am. Am I going to marry this woman? Of course I am. Are we going to have a wedding? More than likely. Am I going to kill myself to have said wedding? No. But I'm going to try to make it happen for her. That's part of being in a relationship. Do I have reservations? Yes. Does she have reservations? No doubt. Do I trust her? Yes. Does she trust me? I would hope so. I would really hope so. So, you know, basically all it comes down to is, you know, at the end of the day, is it somebody you love? Is it somebody you want to be with for the rest of your life? And, you know, at this point, and it's not the first time I've said it. It's not the first woman I've said it with, but yes, I do. There's something different about this woman. There's something very different about this woman. That I am still learning to deal with. I shouldn't say deal with. I'm learning how to react to it. Just her honesty, her blunt honesty, with everything, with stuff I'm doing right, with stuff I'm doing wrong, with how she feels. The absolute blunt honesty is new to me, and sometimes my own trauma responses react to it, because, you know, growing up, I had a parent who was fairly hard on me. You know, anytime you did something wrong, you were told you were a moron or an idiot or stupid. The famous saying is, you know, you're so stupid. There's got to be two of you because one of you can't be that stupid. That is something that was burned into my brain. That saying. You know, and I don't really blame my dad for that, because my dad came from a hard time too. He had a very strict parent. He had a very strict father, and that's what he learned. I had a very strict father, and thankfully I believe that I have left some of that behind. I'm not going to say I left all of it behind, because I do have my own limits that sometimes get tested, but I make a point not to be my father or his father. I try to be more constructive about things. I don't tell people they're stupid. I tell people, you know, how they can improve. I think that's more constructive than coming out and saying, "Oh, you're stupid." I don't believe in that. I don't believe in belittling somebody for doing something wrong. I believe in showing them how they could do it right. Maybe I should have been a teacher. I don't know. Maybe I should have been a teacher. I know I'm good at it. I know I'm good at it because I've done it. Well, I was a teacher's aide, but basically, as a teacher's aide, I was put in a position where I actually taught students, and I actually found it was. I don't want to say. Well, you know what? No, I am going to say it. It was fulfilling. It was a fulfilling thing. I can see where teachers get the pride in what they do and get the pride in their students' accomplishments. I personally was put in charge of special needs children, a couple of special needs children. I was told flat out that their grades were bad, and they didn't know how to deal with them. They didn't know how to deal with these children. Me, myself, being from a special needs background, I myself have dyslexia, I have ADHD. When I entered their school system, or when I entered the placement, it was a job placement. When I entered the job placement as this teacher's assistant, I was flat out requested. They basically said, we don't know what to do with these students. Um, and I said straight to them, I said, okay, give me a couple of them and I'll see what I can do. Because I know how I learn. Not everybody learns the same way, but I know how I learn. Being at that time, I only knew I was dyslexic. I had a feeling that there was more to it than dyslexia. I didn't get my ADHD diagnosis until actually this year. But I always knew there was more to it than just straight up dyslexia. And that had to do with, there was a little bit of OCD mixed in there. There was more than just seeing backwards letters, and there was more than just having trouble with language. There was a lot of difficulty with paying attention, and there was a lot of difficulty with maintaining focus. Twiddling and all that stuff. Boredom would set in, and then you start twiddling, you start screwing around, you start doing this, do that, and can't get your mind to shut off. Those kind of things. So I always knew there was more to it than just dyslexia. And when I went into the school system and I was faced with, students that are having troubles learning, because they're faced with these challenges, not being able to focus or not being able to read from a book because it's so mind-numbingly boring that you can't focus on it. And I had to come up with ways of teaching these kids, or basically my job was to raise their grades. These kids were failing. And they were going to be held back if something wasn't done. And I was basically their last ditch effort. I was their Hail Mary. There was basically no... Uh-oh. Are you going to figure it out? No, you're just going to say you're blocked by an object because you're too stupid to figure it out. Oh, wait, it's going to try to figure it out. Come on, you can do it. You can do it, buddy. You can figure this out. Let's see what it's going to do. Are you going to... Okay. It's figuring it out. I like this. Anyway, getting back to it. Yeah, so I was basically told that these students had very little chance of moving on with their classmates, that they were going to get held back because of their grades. Because their grades were so low. They weren't learning the material. They weren't understanding the material. And I recognized from my own youth these very same comments. The comments that came from my teachers. I was always given a pass, basically, by my teachers because they didn't want to hold me back. I was the special needs student. They didn't know what to do with me. They didn't want to hold me back because they didn't know how to help me, kind of thing. And I did have some very limited support in the way of I didn't have to take being a Canadian school student in school. You have to take French. French is one of the subjects you have to take because we are a bilingual country. I was exempt from French class because it wasn't deemed an academic requirement for me. It was deemed beyond my grasp. So they basically said, okay, we're gonna take you out of all French classes, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna use that time that you would be in French class. We're gonna use that time, and we're gonna put you in a special class with a one-on-one teacher where you can work on things like homework and learning how to, learning your math and this, that, and the other. Um, the kids called it romper room. That was their slang term for it. But really, it was an assistance, and I was actually one of the first students in the school to be given that assistance because I was one of the first students uh, basically in the city. I don't know how far I can go with that. I don't think I was the first student in the province, but but I was definitely the first student in the city that had been identified, um, because my parents were so bent on it. I was taken to the States to, uh, to special facilities down there where I was assessed and went through all kinds of testing, um, to determine exactly, what the hell was wrong. And they came up with the diagnosis of dyslexia. And because I ended up with that diagnosis, it suddenly opened up some doors. Um, and my mom was huge in this because she was basically she was ahead of her time with the whole "no child left behind" kind of mentality, especially not her child. Um, so she fought so hard, um, for me to get these benefits that kids nowadays just get. If you're diagnosed, you just get these benefits. Here, well, I don't know everywhere. Definitely here in Canada, because it's now recognized learning disabilities, and there are now, things to deal with that. But getting back to my story, back when I was um, this teacher's aide, um, the school that I was at was actually my elementary school. The school that I was the school that I ended up getting assistance at. They didn't have an assistance program, um, like the program I had. It had been cut by that time, and it's not cut anymore. Now it's back in place. But back when I was doing this teacher's assistant, which is probably like 20, maybe 25 years ago, maybe. No, it might. Yeah, maybe about 25 years ago. I was in college. So anyway, back when I was doing this teacher's assistant situation, um, there were two students in particular who were going to fail. They were gonna basically bomb out. They had virtually no chance on their own of passing their classes, and they were going to get held back, and not graduate with their class. And what they did was they came to me, because they remembered I was actually requested, when my name was seen on the job list, or the applicant list, or the teacher's aid list. I was actually requested by my former school. One of the teachers was now the president. One of my teachers was now the principal of that school, and I was actually requested. And I went to that school, and they said to me, um, "We remember that you went through this, that you had learning difficulties, and that your mom helped you through them, and um, through special training at home and all that stuff." And then they said, "Would you be willing to try to help these two students that we have, um, basically help them to succeed?" And I mean, I only had a few months there. It wasn't like I was there this whole school year. I only had a few months. But I was like, yeah, okay, let's see what we can do. So my first couple of days with these students, and they were always one-on-one. I would have one student, and then that student's time would be up, and I would get the next student. And then when that student's time was done, I would go to some classes and help out in the classes like a teacher's aide does. But anyways, these two students, Um, I kind of saw something in them that I recognized in myself, and I knew why they were failing. When they looked at a book, it just turned to gobbledygook on a page. You can't focus on it. It's hard to describe. So like when you open the math textbooks and you start looking at the math textbook and you start reading it, all of a sudden the words become a jumble. They don't make sense because your brain stops. Your brain just shuts off. It says, I don't want to do this. And your brain just shuts off. And suddenly you don't understand what you're reading because it's not being processed by your brain. Um, so when I got these students, I was like, okay, I understand what I have to do. And it's so simple. It's so very simple. Um, I have to make learning fun. I have to make it interesting. I have to I have to get rid of the mundaneness of learning. Specifically, the one student was math. I'm like, I have to take away the mundaneness of math. I have to make it so that it is no longer a boring ass subject. I have to make it so that it is interesting. That this kid wants to do math and trigonometry and fractions, and I have to make it so this kid actually wants to do this stuff. Um, and that is how you focus somebody with ADHD. You have to give them something they want to do. You have to make it interesting. You have to make it so that they hyper focus on it. And if they won't hyper focus on it, you're going to lose them. So you basically have to trick their brain into saying, "Ooh, this is kind of cool. This is really interesting. I want to focus on this." Boom, and then they're hyper focused, and you can throw anything at their hyper focused mind, and they will absorb. But if you can't get them to do that, then anything you try to teach them is just going to bounce off. So what I did with this student is I made up, and it took quite a bit of effort because I myself was in the same boat. I'm like, okay, this is, I had to struggle through the boredom myself of not wanting to do it. I had to really struggle through the boredom of not wanting to do it because I would start doing these math equations, and basically for any parent out there who has gone and tried to help their student or help their child with math homework, you don't remember it. You don't remember it from when you were in school. You have to relearn it yourself. And that to me was the struggle, because I was just like these kids. I didn't want to read the book. I didn't want to understand it. I didn't want to learn it again. I had already been through it. I was not interested in learning again, so I had to struggle with that myself. And when I got to the point of, okay, how am I going to teach these kids how to do fractions, and how am I going to teach these kids how to do, trigonometry and complex angles, and how the hell am I going to do this? And the beauty was, unlike an actual teacher, I was actually given the freedom of teaching these kids however I wanted. I didn't have a curriculum to go by. My only instruction was get their grades up. That was it. So I wasn't given a curriculum to follow. I wasn't told I only have this amount of time to work on fractions. I only have this amount of time to work on, exponents or trigonometry. I only have this amount of time to work on, whatever. I wasn't told that. I was told get their grades up any way you can. And with that freedom, I was like, it just opened up. It opened up a world to me. I was like, okay, well, they're not learning from the book, so let's throw out the book. Curriculum says you have to go from the textbook. I didn't have that restriction. So I was like, okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to throw out the book. I don't need to teach these kids how to solve the I don't need to teach these kids or give these kids the problems to solve. I have to teach them how to solve it. Any problem they run into. I just have to teach them how to do it. So I'm not going to throw a math textbook at them and say, here, solve all these problems. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say, this is how you solve it. Then you give them the textbook, and they go, oh, I know how to do this. Instead of sitting there going, trying to figure it out, I have to show them how to figure it out. I have to show them the solution before giving them the problem. And I have to make it interesting. So what I did with the students specifically is I designed, and I wish I kept it because it probably would have been great to pass it on to like a teacher or something like that. I totally didn't even think about doing it. I just did them as needed, and then when I was done with them, I got rid of them, which was, like I said, it was really stupid of me. I should have saved them. But what I did was I came up with almost a game. It was almost a game. I would build it in. Really? This is what you've decided you're going to try to do? No, you're not blocked by an object. You're just being stupid. So anyway, I made a game of it. I used. What is it? I used PowerPoint. I basically made PowerPoint presentations, but I made them. Really? I made the PowerPoint. Really? You're not. You are. You're an idiot. You're not blocked by an object. You're blocked by stupidity. So anyway, I made PowerPoint presentations, and the PowerPoint presentations I made were almost like a game. It would show the problem, or it would show a problem, and then it would help them work it out. So it broke down the problem into steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3. And of course Common Core didn't exist. So I didn't have to deal with any of that shit. So it was just it was just regular math. So I built it interesting. I built it in a way that was interesting visually. So I would have like numbers slide in from the side or pop up from the bottom or spin into existence. You know, I just made it flashy. I basically gave them the same problem that was in the book. I just made it flashy. I made it visually interesting. And then I broke down how I would solve the problem. I didn't go from the book. I didn't say, okay, this is how the book tells you to solve this problem. I said, okay, in my own brain, what makes sense? How would I handle this problem to get the right answer? I still had to get the right answer, but I was like, how in my brain do I process this? Do I process this in order to find the answer? So I almost had to backtrack my own thought process of, you know, take this, take that, multiply here and multiply there, and oh, think of it this way, you know, think of it as, you know, I have a cup that's half full, you know, how many liters, you know, how many liters is the cup, and then how, if it's half full, how many liters is that going to be, and, you know, working out fractions of how do you do the math, you know. And so I did all of these in visual presentations, and it kind of set up a hyper-focused situation, because I never did the same thing. I never made it the same thing. So if a number would spin in this time, next time it would slide in. If a number slid in last time, this time it's going to pop in or explode in. You know, it was never the same thing back to back. I would eventually have to repeat things because you can only make things show up on the screen so many different ways. You'd have them slide, you can have them pop in, you can have them flip in, explode, come from the top, come from the bottom, you know. But there's only so many ways you could do it. So eventually they would have to repeat. But I never allowed it to repeat in a sequence that would be predictable because I didn't want the mind to go lazy. I didn't want it to be able to predict what was going to happen next. I wanted to keep it on its toes. You know, you may have seen a number explode in 500 times, but you haven't seen it explode in after it slid in. You know, that I had to keep it fresh. So that's what I did, and it actually got these kids focused because they wanted to see what was going to happen next. So in their mind, the problem became, I want to see what's next. So I have to solve this because I want to see what's next. I want to see what's coming. And then when they would get it right, when they would get the answer right, I would make a huge deal about it, and I would prop them up. I would reaffirm their self-worth at that point. It wouldn't be, oh, yeah, you got the right answer. It would be, holy crap, man, you got the right answer. Awesome. How, did you find that better or did you find that worse? And I would get feedback from them. I'd be like, okay, what did you like about that? What didn't you like about that? You know, or I would make them think about how they came to the answer, you know? What tricks did you use? You know, was there anything you thought up that would make it easier, or that made it easier? I would basically get them thinking about how they're learning. And when that was the strongest thing for me growing up, was discovering how I learned. Because I didn't learn like everybody else learns. I didn't learn the same way that a normal student would learn, or a normal kid would learn. I learned my own way. I had to learn my own way because that's the way my brain worked. So I would get these kids to start thinking about how their own brain works. Don't accept somebody telling you how your brain works because they are not you. They don't have the experience to tell you how your brain works. Only you can tell yourself how your brain works. My brain works visually. As I discovered, that student's brain also worked visually. My brain needs something to be interesting. So did that kid's. Now, the difference between me and him is my brain also needs repetition. His did not. Once he figured it out, he could repeat it on his own without having to figure it out again. Like once he discovered, oh, this is how you do that. Once he was hyper focused on it and had an interest in it, it stuck in his head. Whereas for me, I need to repeat. Even if something is interesting to me, I need to repeat it a couple of times. Just to make sure I have it down. And that goes the same for, I even see that in things like typing, in things like, even this video, I am constantly in this video going, oh man, I wish I could restart this because I thought of a way of saying that differently, or I thought of a way of mentioning that differently, or why did I say that instead of this? You know, my brain is constantly doing that. And it's like, I should have said it this way, I should have said it that way. And it's the same on social media. I will, if I post something, I will go back and reword it 7-8 times before I'm satisfied with what I've written. And even after I'm satisfied with what I've written, if somebody replies to that, I might read their reply and go, oh, and then go back and change what I wrote. Or not necessarily change, but just edit. Little tiny edits just to change how it's perceived. Because that's the way my brain works. It's like I gotta repeat it until it's perfect. Could be an OCD thing, you know. I wouldn't doubt it, because that is kind of how OCD works. You repeat until it's perfect, until everything's, you know, everything's absolutely solid. So I mean, it could be an OCD perk. It could be who knows. Who knows? I don't even know how my brain works. I just find little workarounds here and there. Okay. So right now I'm waiting for the snow to melt. We are into January. We're actually January 4th, so I'm going to go check and see if we got more fields ready. Because I believe these fields came ready in December. So we could actually have another field ready. Maybe 9-1. 9-1 could be ready. Oh, 9-1's almost ready. Damn, it's got that one little spot that's not ready yet. And then 9-5 is going to be next month. So we're going to have 9-1 finish here. We're going to have 9-5 complete as well. 9-4 is probably going to be the month after that. So we'll have all 5 fields ready to plant. Huzzah. Moving ahead. Moving ahead. I just wish the snow would go away. I can't really go and plow my field with, like, get the snowblower and do the field. I gotta wait until it melts before I can plant. Oh, buddy, you got snow in your food. Or snow in your bowl. So yeah, anyway, moral of the story is, once I had learned how these kids learn, and taught them how they learned, after I left, their grades actually continued to improve. I didn't need to teach them how to accomplish the work. They knew how to do the work. Or I shouldn't say I didn't need to teach them how to raise their grades. They already knew how to raise their grades. They knew they had to work at it. What I had to teach them was the tricks to solving the problems that they were stuck with. And the biggest problem that they were stuck with was just not knowing how their brains worked. I had to teach them how their brains worked. And I had to teach them how to make learning interesting for them. Because that is not something that anybody can teach you. Nobody can teach you how you learn. Not even a teacher. Not even a teacher can teach you how you learn. You have to discover that for yourself. And the way that you discover that is just by doing. So by me, I guess technically I did teach them how they learned. But it required feedback from them. So technically they taught me how they learned. through my prompting. They taught me how they learned. Vehicle leasing cost. Oh shit, I'm still leasing that freaking header. I forgot I didn't buy that. Damn it. Get out of here. I totally forgot I hadn't bought that header. I was like, mine. This is mine now. No, God, I wonder how much money I've lost. I wonder how much money I've lost with that header just sitting over there doing nothing. That's horrible. Oh, and the snow's back. That's absolutely horrible. But yeah, so it's my belief that you cannot be told how your brain works. You have to figure it out for yourself. Somebody can guide you through that process, just as I guided that kid through his process of learning how his brain worked. Somebody can help guide you through that process, but it is a process that only you can learn yourself, or discover yourself. You know, whoops. Somebody can guide you. Somebody can say, hey, okay, so your brain kind of works this way, kind of works that way, kind of works some other way, but only you can say to them, okay, I understand. This is interesting to me. That is interesting to me. So it kind of takes the work of multiple ends to figure that out. You have to work with your counselor, is what they were called when I was going to school. You have to work with your counselor. The counselor has to work with you. Together, you come up with... dang it. Together, you come up with the plan that leads to your success. Dang it, I can't see the... I'm trying to move it to the back, but I can't see the back. No. It'd be so much easier if it wasn't on a damn angle. Got it. Move. Back there. I don't know if it's at the back of the shop now or not. I can't see it. Let's find out where it is. Yeah, it's close enough to the back. It's close enough to the back, I guess. Now all my shit got shifted around from the lines. The lines moving through the building. We'll just straighten up a little bit here. This trailer got bumped around too. That's fine. We'll just scooch it a little bit. So anyway, the ending of that story, which you're probably sitting here going, okay, finish the damn story. Sorry, that's another ADHD thing. You just keep going off on tangents. So anyway, what ended up happening was, I taught this kid how to teach himself, basically, and through that, he not only raised his grades, but he shot up 2 grade levels, or 2 grade points, I should say. He went from being an F student to being a C student. And I mean, you want to talk about feeling good. You want to talk about feeling good. I felt so good. The other student didn't improve as much, but he did improve. He went from being an F student to a D student. Still ended up moving on with his classmates to high school. I'm not sure how they did in high school. Unfortunately, I didn't get any further updates after I left, other than being told that they both improved their grades. That was kind of done as a courtesy to me. Being told that their grades went up. It was kind of, a thank you for actually helping them. I was given the courtesy of knowing that their grades had improved. And the one I was really excited for, the one that his grade went from being an F up to a C. Are you kidding me? That was amazing. Talk about feeling good about not only feeling good about yourself, but feeling good about the work that you did for somebody. It was amazing. It was amazing. And I believe I understand teachers, because that is not an easy profession. That is not an easy profession. You face a lot of hurdles. You face a lot of restrictions. You face a lot of backlash, especially from parents. Parents, who think their children can do no wrong, or who think their children are superstars. There's just so much that a teacher has to deal with, and I gotta give them props. I gotta give teachers props for that. The rewards are just not there for a teacher unless their student gives them the reward. The rewards that they can get from their student, just in the success of the student, or just in the student just being successful, is outrageous. It's an amazing feeling. And you get to go, you know what? I helped that student. I helped that student become successful. That's a damn good feeling. That is a damn good feeling. But anyway, off on that tangent. That's another tangent. We've been all over the place on this episode. But we are coming up to the 3-hour mark, and it doesn't look like this snow is going to let up any friggin' time soon. So I'm going to have to end this episode here. Lots of conversation was had in this episode. lots of rethinking about some of the things I talked about. I wouldn't say rethinking. I would say maybe some things could have been said differently. Some things could have been said more clearly, maybe. And some things could definitely use feedback on. So we got 2 pallets on each of these now. Nice. 2 pallets. I'm gonna wait until we have 3, because then that'll be a load worth taking. But anyway, that's gonna be it. Hopefully the snow will melt soon, and we'll be able to get those fields planted. But that'll be for next episode. Alright, so take care, everybody. This is Jody, and I'm signing off and getting out of here. See you later. Take care, and bye-bye.